All right, here we are. Reset method, day 5, last video, which might be the hardest one for many of you with anxiety to sit with because it's the age old question: what does healing anxiety actually look like long term? Well, let me tell you, it's not gone. So don't be disappointed, because here's the expectation that all of my clients have is, I thought I would be healed by now. I thought I wouldn't have to deal with this by now. I thought I wouldn't be anxious anymore. All of those are lies and expectations that we have for the overgeneralization that once you start to work on yourself, anxiety just like goes away and disappears into some like far off abyss. Um, well, if you were ever told that babies come from storks, that's about as far as your anxiety is going to go. Or babies come from belly buttons. Isn't that another one? So today I just want to talk a little bit about what happens. Like, you've done all the work. You have regulated the nervous system. You have explored the roots. You have shifted out of self-sabotaging patterns. You have done emotional repair. You have rewired your brain. And now here we are at the end to take aligned action in your day-to-day life. But anxiety's still here? What? Make it make sense, Brianna, please. Well, as I've mentioned, I am a 20 plus year licensed clinical psychotherapist, along with being a multifaceted mentor, helping 6 and 7 figure CEOs align their personal life with the professional life that they have. I'm also a stylist, and I help high achieving people, high achieving individuals to embody both peace and purpose, so that when they walk into a room, they command that room with authenticity and authority. I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm all of these things. Why am I telling you that? Because that all of those things happened because I started to take aligned action based on finishing these other 4 steps of the reset method. And what I know to be true, here comes Ace with a new toy. What I know to be true is that I never healed from anxiety. What I did was I really got to know it well. We became very close friends, and we have a very intimate relationship. What do you know about intimacy? Well, you know all the ins and outs of that person. What do you know about intimacy? You're so connected to them that you can see and help and react before the problem gets worse. What do you know about intimacy? Well, you have a level of respect for each other based on love, patience, kindness, understanding. Yes, I'm going to get biblical here. So, this is where you take a bigger leap of faith with the part of yourself who is anxious, because no longer are you an anxious person. No longer are you somebody who has anxiety. You are somebody who can recognize the signs, the symptoms, and the internal responses happening before they take you out and take you over. So, I want to remind you that managing anxiety really doesn't mean that you heal from it. It means that you're living differently and life looks differently. In my life, over the last several years, it has, in each area of my life, started to be a little bit different, right? So I would say within my relationships romantically, as I got to understand the anxiety that lived inside of me, I started setting better boundaries. I started saying no way quicker. I started noticing red flags way sooner. I started setting expectations for myself and what I wanted, not towards them. I would keep them to myself and just observe, but I would watch them and respond more quickly. I was able to call specific behaviors out within myself and be able to label them faster and then pull back and not fully engage in them. Within my spiritual life, I was able to start trusting more and believing bigger. This allowed me to discern where God was leading me and the purpose and path that God had for me, which is crazy because if I was still in that anxious part of myself, I would have never stepped I would have never stepped into the rooms that I have been invited into in the last year. And I never would have met some of the most amazing, talented, successful um, friends, clients, and opportunities face to face had I not. As far as my career goes, it's challenged me to look at how I sell, how I show up, how I lead, not from a place of scarcity anymore, but from a place of like trust and believing that what I have to say is important and the people that are going to land there are going to. And, I don't know if this is a great description for you, but I used to be like that starving lion out in the Sahara Desert who was always on the hunt for her next meal, but so much so that I was desperate to just get something. It didn't matter what it was. And now I'm particular and I'm picky and I'm patient. And because of that, I feel so much more fed. I feel so much more grounded. I feel so much more confident. Um, what did I list? Relationships, faith, career, and my health. You don't know this about me yet, and I'll be sharing more about this, but I am a mold exposure survivor, mold exposure survivor. I was living in it for 3 years unknowingly. It left me with a horrible chronic illness that is very painful. And I'm still working to heal that. And in the last year, I was exposed to mold again, which had everything shoot through the roof. And then add perimenopause, Miss Perry, the problem creator, into my life. And I was sick. I was sick. I was really, really sick. And at that point in my life, I was in the best shape. I had the most beautiful body, just like muscular and toned and round in all the right places. And I had to stop everything. And so for almost 9 months, I haven't been to the gym. And the anxious part of me would have felt like I was not deserving or loving or desired enough unless my body looked a certain way. And honestly, a lot of time, my workouts were a way to cope with and manage some of the intense overthinking and the tense, overwhelmed feeling that I had. And now that I know how to work with that part of myself more successfully, the gym just became a fun place for me to get out of the house, to do something healthy, to do something healing for my body. And so, physically, because I have learned how to live differently, the gym is just a part of my self care, period. It's not to fix something, to give me something, to get something out of. It's just like something that I enjoy. And I love the way I feel when I walk out. So I have no attachment to how it looks anymore. So if you are somebody who is still in this place of anxiousness and you are wondering, like, what do I do? Why isn't this gone yet? That's just not the question. It's never going to all the way go away. Prime example, a couple weeks ago, um, I was we were dealing with a co-parenting challenge between my stepkids, my husband and his ex, and I didn't agree with something that was happening. I didn't like the way things were starting to happen, and so I set a boundary. I set a very firm boundary because if any of y'all are under 40, and you're in your like early 30s, just know that like once you get to like the late 30s, early 40s, you just stop caring about how things are received when you know that something is important and valuable. Like you just do it because you're doing it from a place of self identity, self understanding, self knowing, all of those things. So I set this boundary, but immediately after I sent what I said, my whole body literally was shaking. And I went into the bedroom where my husband was, and I was like, I feel very anxious right now. And I can tell because like I can't stop shivering. Like my body went into that fight, flight, or freeze. Because I really do not like conflict at all. I hate conflict. It's the most uncomfortable thing ever. I don't like it. I wish it never existed ever in the world. Why does it have to be there? Can't we all just get along? No, conflict is great, but I don't like it. And so that there was proof right there, like, wow, that was my body feeling anxious because it doesn't like the idea of conflict. And it was kind of preparing for what might come back after setting a boundary. But it was gone after that. And I didn't think about it again because I'm not living in the repetitive hamster on a wheel circling of anxiety, obsessing, overthinking, replaying, regretting, um, creating new scenarios in my head. I did what I needed to do and then I let it go. So, healing doesn't mean that you're free from the anxiety. Healing means that you have control of yourself and control of the parts of yourself that are looking to control everything else out in the world, because we don't have control over anything outside of our reach. So, stick your hand out in front of you. Okay, that's about as far as you can control. Is to where your eyesight meets your hand. That's about it. Okay. So, one of the things that I want to improve on, this is a complete aside, as I'm talking on here, is making sure to look at you and not at me. I know I look good. I like my outfit today. I have owned this top for about 6 years and have never worn it, but I could never throw it away because it's vintage. I got it at this really cool thrift store. I think it's so beautiful. And then I finally figured it out, y'all. Look, just stick a brooch in there, pin it up, and be good to go. If I have ADHD, that was an ADHD moment. I don't think I do, but yeah. All right. So, what healing actually means is that you have faster recovery when you have an anxious moment. You have more self trust, and that you have more self leadership. So, healing actually equals that you recover faster, you trust yourself more, and you're leading from a place of who you are, that identity that we've been talking about. That is healing. Anxiety is real, it exists, it's never going to go away. From the time Jesus was born to the cavemen being alive, wherever you land in your life, for me, when Jesus was born, everybody has fight, flight, or freeze in their nervous system because we have to protect ourselves from the elements, right? We have to protect ourselves from predators. We have to protect ourselves from the natural disasters. We didn't have anxiety in us, nobody would be alive. However, our day to day life experiences are more than likely not dangerous when we're feeling anxious. It's just anxiety creating dangerous scenarios that don't really exist. So you don't need to get rid of anxiety. You just have to change your relationship with it. You don't need to get rid of anxiety. It's just time to change your relationship with it. And if you've gone through this series and you've followed the step by step directions, you're going in the right path. You're going down the right path and you are going to get there. It just takes time. I always tell my clients that you have to remember however many years it took for you to get to this place to sit in this therapy office and talk about you feeling anxious. Like, you've collected that many years of feeling anxious. Anxiety is not just going to go away in 3 to 4 sessions because like you're putting in the work. No, it takes time. There's a lot of unprogramming you have to do. There's a lot of trust you have to build in yourself. There's a lot of new leadership skills that you have to develop outside of how great of a leader you are in your career or in your business. It doesn't change the fact that the way that you lead yourself is very important, and it's what is going to help you regulate quicker in these moments where anxiety wants to take you out. But from this day moving forward, I know that you can start to say, anxiety does not run me. Anxiety is not running my show. I'm in control of myself. I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my body. And that's going to allow me to control my response to something else that I can't control. I just had this conversation with a couple that I work with last night where the wife was wanting to understand how she will know when her wife loves her, because there's been some challenging just dynamics within their marriage. And the wife had shared that she isn't really sure if she knows how to actually love her wife. And so the one that is receiving the information of like not being able to know whether or not she's loved, was like, well, then how do I know you're loving me? Like, how do I know what you're doing? And so there was a lot of like this anxious thinking, right? Around like, how will I know? How do I know I'm safe? How do I know this relationship is going to work out? Hey, hody, 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 ho, hooty, 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 hoo. Just so you know that if there was 6 people in this room, yeah, just 6, I would still be doing all of this same goofy stuff because that's just who I am. Um, but the anxious part of her brain wants to have some sort of like set of stairs that shows that there's improvement. And sometimes we have to trust in our life that we're making a choice to stay in something uncertain, and that the risk is 50% chance I win and I get what I need, and 50% chance I lose and I become disappointed and have to deal with the pain. But that is life 24/7. There's a 50% chance every time. So, do you want to live life focused on the part that you don't know and you're afraid is going to happen? Or do you want to focus on the part of your life that you have control over, where you can feel at peace and experience joy in what is going on that you know you have control of? So, you can continually going back to that first session. Remember, sympathetic to parasympathetic. You can be anxious and then you can go to relaxed, anxious and relaxed, because the goal here is to be activated and then return to safety. Activated and then return to safety. Activated and then return to safety. Okay. Calm becomes your way of being. Anxiety no longer is having a stronghold over you. I'll break you free in the name of Jesus. That'd be something my husband would do. Um, but you're going to move through life now more regulated, more grounded, more trusting yourself, setting better boundaries, and it's going to feel so good. And this is what I want for you because I know it exists, because I used to be like you and now I'm not. And there's a sense of freedom. It's as if like you let the dog out and they get the zoomies. That's the life that is waiting for you, is to just get the zoomies, free yourself, run, enjoy, roll in the grass, be as free as you are desiring to be, because anxiety does not run you the way that it has. It doesn't have to run you. And yes, I promise you that it will not be what leads your reactions, your decisions, and your way of living. Okay. So if you are interested in receiving the roadmap that I created for this step to take action on what it is you are moving through, just shoot a comment and I will get your email, and I'm going to send you the personalized action plan that I created just for free because I love you and I want you to heal. My name is Brianna. I am a 20+ year licensed clinical psychotherapist who also is a stylist and a author and a speaker and a multifaceted mentor who works for 6 and 7-figure CEOs to help them create more of a life that is a reflection of how successful their professional life is. So I love you. Thank you for being a part of this series, and more to come.